Okay, it is 7:01, and I will call this meeting to order. And if you guys would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Next on the agenda is the roll call. Donna, would you please call the roll?
Is Mayor Queenie Bars?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Fred Brooks? Trustee Ed Hellum? Trustee Betsy Harrison?
Aye.
Trustee Cindy Simpson?
Here.
Trustee Brett McWhirter?
Here.
Trustee Janice Ryan?
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum, so we will continue on. Do you ladies want to move down, or are you fine where you're at?
No, we're okay.
Okay, all right. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, and I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to amend the agenda by moving item F, swearing in of Aaron Walker, to the July 28th, 2021 agenda.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion by Trustee Betsy Harrison and a second by Trustee Brent McWhirter to move the swearing in of the new deputy, Aaron Walker, to the July 28th meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sound. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the June 23rd, 2021 meeting, and I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda of the June 23rd, 2021 minutes.
The
minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Trustee Janice Bryan and a second by Trustee Brent McWhirter to approve the minutes of June 23rd, 2021. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sound. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is audience business, and I do want to remind everybody that audience business is your chance to talk to the board. Be aware that the board can and will not make any decisions tonight on your subject, and that you will come to the podium and state your name and your physical address and the topic that you want to speak about, and give the town clerk plenty of time to record that information, so we have it on record. And the first person I have is Alice Gosh.
Thank you, Mayor Mars, and thanks to all of you who are serving our town. I appreciate it, and I understand what you are giving up to be able to do this. I am here tonight to
Can you give us your address, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Alice Gouch, and my address is 209 East Menifee Street in Mancos. And I'm here to ask you to consider, as you are looking forward in the next workshop to discussing water rates, and I know a rate increase has been mentioned. So my concern is what yardstick you might use to set such a rate. And I would just like to caution against using a rate of inflation. We're hearing a lot about inflation these days. As a yardstick for setting new rates, I would encourage you to consider using the cost of living adjustment, which is known as COLA. COLA is a rate set by the federal government that offsets offsets the effects of inflation. And COLAs are equal to the percentage increase in the consumer price index for a specific period. I'm not an economist, I'm just an ordinary citizen, but I think this is important. And you may know COLAs already because the cost of living adjustment is built into many contracts that we work under, or if we are receiving Social Security, that impacts us. And in case you're wondering, the cost of living adjustment for last year was 1.6%, and for 2021 it's 1.3%. And I'm not trying to give you a lecture on economics, but the Consumer Price Index is that government measurement that evaluates the changes in a cost of a set, what they call a basket of consumer goods and services. In other words, what it costs the ordinary Joe or Jane to live. That's the Consumer Price Index. And it is not meant to be a cost of living index, but it does influence the cost of living adjustment, the COLA. So I'm encouraging you to consider using COLA, C-O-L-A, cost of living adjustment, as the yardstick as you deliberate setting water rates. Thank you.
Thank you. And that might be something that you might want to talk with our water department head or with Heather, our town administrator, and they can tell you what rates and how we figure that. So that might be a question for the office. Okay, the next one is Sadie Pace and Emily Spahn.
Hi, thank you so much. So I'm Sadie Rose Pace, 40504 Highway 160 BR as in business route in Mancos.
Hi, I'm Emily Swan. My address is 33 Porter Way, Dolores.
So we're here tonight to actually ask the board to consider putting us on an agenda hopefully at the end of August or September. We both work in child sexual abuse prevention. So I work for Illuminate Colorado. We are a nonprofit that is the state chapter for Prevent Child Abuse in America. So if you saw the little pinwheels all throughout town in April, that was through us. We actually donated about 40,000 pinwheels across the state of Colorado. We work to do education. So we actually train child welfare, we train individuals, we train community members, all in different ways of child sexual abuse prevention. Heard that. And we work extensively just trying to help build communities, because we know that the more we build a community, the more we build a family, the more we support our children. And we are here really today to tell you a little tidbit about what we can offer for you. Also, just for Rachel, she's not going to inundate you guys, but she's here from Team Up, which is part of the Team Up for Southwest Colorado. So she's also involved in our little planning attempt. Emily actually offers a lot of free trainings that we'd like to offer to the board tonight, and then we can talk a little bit further about what we can do in the future.
Great, thank you. And right now I work with Jessica in the Four Corners Child Advocacy Center on the Child Maltreatment Prevention Action Team. And so part of this team's work it's pretty multifaceted. So we work to provide these trainings, and we also work on a big campaign that Manos and the County supports each other. However, education is the first step in preventing this type of abuse. We were chosen for a grant based on the high levels of child abuse in Montezuma County, so it's a problem here, it's a problem with our kids. So I do mandated reporter trainings, which are focused at people who are on the front lines of child abuse prevention. So the people who interact with kids on a day-to-day basis. This is teachers, dentists, the people at Mancos Public Library, who I just talked to today. But again, raising that awareness is just so integral for making sure that these kids are protected, because when a child experiences victimization, it not only impacts them in that moment, it impacts them for the rest of their life. And it also impacts the community, because a lot of these kids, I think it's about 30% for juvenile and adult criminalization, like end up in jail. And they're also can be more likely to commit violent crimes. So the more that we learn about this, the more that we can keep our eyes out for the signs and indicators of abuse, and the more likely we are to be able to protect the kids who can't protect themselves, and to bring this positive benefit to the community at large. So there's that, and then a safe sitter program focused at middle school students, trying to give them the life skills necessary to keep their siblings safe, and also teaching them about different developmental ages, so that when they one day become parents, they can bring that forward. And so I think both of these are really important to talk more about, to develop a community.
1 minute.
Sorry?
You have a minute left.
Okay, and to have it on the agenda.
So really, what we're kind of here to do is to let you guys know that there's 3 opportunities to work with Emily right now at the California Child Advocacy Center through Team Up. And then in the future, we would really like to talk with you about other ways that Team Up and Illuminate Colorado can work with the town. To my knowledge, no town board has taken the initiative to become trained in child sexual abuse prevention. So we could do that. We could be the first in the state of Colorado. We could be the first in the county. We can lead the way, because I already know, as a Colorado native, that we take our families seriously. So we can put our money where our mouth is, really make sure that we can get our town trained, and guide the fact that we are determined to do our best to prevent child sexual abuse. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's all I have that have signed up to speak. So we will move right along to announcements. Heather, do you have any announcements?
A couple. We are fully staffed. So everybody, I think our last one started Monday. So there, you may see some new faces, number 1, and number 2, know that we have 4 or 5 employees who just started in the last month, and so they are learning the ropes and learning how things work, and now we're going to start playing catch up on projects and things that have been postponed just because we were 4 people down. So, and then we signed, or we gave the notice to proceed to the contractor, to KF Contracting at the water tank. So that was effective today. So you may start seeing some activity up there. And now that the construction and contracting and everything is done, Terry will be managing that project as well as the bridge project. So he's got a ton of stuff on his plate right now. And then I Justin is on vacation. Justin is on vacation this week. So that's why you're not seeing him in this meeting. And then I don't know if Terry has anything.
Saturday, we have another of our yard waste drop off at the field dump from 8 to 12. And on the bridge project, to keep, I guess you could say, to keep part of the old bridge alive, the old rebar that came out of the bridge, the square twisted stuff, has been incorporated into the handrails. The handrails will be finished this week and sent off to Phoenix next week for galvanizing, and then when that's done, I don't know where they go. If they go somewhere, come back and look old.
That's cool.
We're treating them, we cleaned the rust off of them, and now we're gonna treat them so they just look rusty but aren't rusty. So they'll, yeah, they'll be safe, they'll be, what is the word I'm looking for? Structurally sound, I guess, would be the
Yeah.
word I'm looking for. So, and then the rust, if we had left the rust on there, it would have eventually, as it rains and stuff, it would have eventually stained the concrete. So, what's it called?
Pretty fake rust.
Yeah, we fake rusted them so that they look attractive. But, see how we know.
Yeah.
So does anybody else have any? Well, I will.
Could I ask whose creative idea that was?
That was a combination between DNL, the engineers, and the town.
It's really super.
I love
It
it.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah.
We didn't necessarily want to say anything too much sooner because, what it entailed was taking out the rebar. So they took the bridge out in sections, then they took all of that back to DNL's yard. And I don't know if you remember, but a couple of years ago, we wrote a letter of support for DNL to buy a piece of equipment that crushes up the concrete, and it has a magnet that pulls out all the metal, and then they recycle the concrete into metal. So they used that machine to get the rebar out, and then we needed to make sure that when it was all out, that we had enough pieces to cut to do railing on both sides. So they have finally figured that out, and they're also doing their best to save that 1912. It came out, but if I remember correctly, there's a pipe in the middle of it or something.
Oh, jeez.
So we're gonna do the best we can to save that 1912 brick as well. But yeah, Terry's doing an amazing job working with the engineers and the contractors to build something for another 150 years, but that still incorporates history. So
Great.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
And I will announce that Dolores Martinez is the 2021 Mancos Day Queen. Dolores came to Mancos in 1951, and she worked at the school for many, many years as a cafeteria, and then she was an aide, and then she ran the library, and she taught quite a few of the Spanish-speaking kids how to speak English. And so she's been a very prominent member of our community for many, many years. We're proud to have her as our queen, and her quilt is hanging at the Dolores Day Bank. Tickets are on sale there at the bank, or I have tickets if anybody's interested in tickets. So, and then she will be honored at a Queen Tea next Friday at 1 o'clock at the community center, and the public is invited to come and see her.
One more thing, community intervention program is still progressing. We're still working on that project. There have been a couple of presentations in Dolores and that kind of thing. So I have another meeting next week, so we'll continue to work on that. I know it's a priority for you guys, so that's still moving forward. And we will keep you posted as to what happens with it.
Good. All right. So the next thing on the agenda is the proclamation for the National Day of the Cowboy. And the gal that usually does this is not able to be with us tonight. She is a DJ at KSJ, but she's not feeling well this evening. And Barbara Reichart is her name. So I will do this, and then we will get her a signed copy of it. So the Town of Mancos Day of the Cowboy Proclamation. Whereas pioneering men and women known as cowboys helped establish America's frontiers, including the settlement of Mancos. And whereas the cowboy embodies honesty, integrity, courage, compassion, and determination. And whereas the cowboy is an excellent steward of the land and its creatures. And whereas cowboy traditions have long been a part of the American landscape. And whereas the day was created in 2005 for the purpose of celebrating the cowboy culture and to provide recognition to the people who have worked and continue to work this important job in American society. Now therefore, I, Mayor Queenie Barnes, on behalf of the Board of Trustees for the Town of Mancos, do hereby proclaim July 24th, 2021 as the Day of the Cowboy. Encourage all citizens to observe the day with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Dated this 14th day of July, 2021. Signed, Mayor Ellen Queenie Barnes. Okay. Next is the Treasurer's Report, June bills and claims, and I would entertain a motion.
I move we approve the bills and claims as presented by staff.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Cindy Simpson and a second by trustee Janice Bryan to approve the June bills and claims as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sound. Okay, motion carries. Next is the committee reports, the Region 9, and Janice, did you listen to that?
Yeah, I wasn't able to attend, but reading through theirs, I'll just give you a brief overview. So they had a lot of loan inquiries were extremely high that month. They had around 40 businesses inquire about loans, and that was just for the month of June. And 6 loans so far have been approved, and that amount was around $764,500. The other thing to mention is they are coming up with a full comprehensive economic strategy plan for like their 5-year out date, and that's going to be coming up this month. So more to come on that. And I know here we've been, and along Region 9 has been doing the same thing. They've been meeting with the counties here and other health providers of that potential opioid settlement dollars. And there's just looking around to increase the region's substance abuse treatment options. So that's kind of where they're at.
Thank you, Denise. Next is CDOT, and that's Fred, and he's not with us tonight, so we'll ask him at the next meeting. Moving right along to discussion and action items. The first thing is we have the Oleo LLC liquor license renewal. Heather?
I
Donna?
will turn this over to Donna.
All right.
So Oleo's liquor license is set to expire on August 22nd of 2021. There have been no violations in the past 12 months. The Mancos Marshal's office has no objections to the renewal. So I am recommending that you approve their liquor license renewal.
Are there any questions by the board or anything? And I would entertain a motion.
I move we approve the Oleo LLC liquor license renewal and authorize town clerk treasurer to submit the renewal application to the Department of Revenue.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Brent McWhirter and a second by trustee Janice Bryan to approve the Oleo LLC liquor license renewal and authorize the town clerk treasurer to submit the renewal application to the Department of Revenue. Donna, would you please call the vote?
Yes, trustee Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Betsy Harrison.
Aye.
Trustee Brent McWhirter.
Aye.
Trustee Janice Bryan.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. So moving right along is the Mesa Verde Ventures marijuana renewal. And this is going to be Donna again.
Yes, so their Mesa Verde Ventures, their license renewal their license is set to expire on June 28th, which has already expired. However, I have talked to the Mancos Marshal's office. They've had no violations. He is approved. He has no objections to the renewal. So I am also asking for your approval to renew the business license for them.
Any questions or discussion?
Just the expiry, it expired on the 28th of June. So does that mean anything? They're just late?
It doesn't mean anything. They have 30 days after. Yes.
And it looks like the application was received by us on June 16th. Is that correct?
That is the date that they turned it in. We do have some due diligence that we have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I just meant like, we can renew it because they submitted their request before the expiry. Yeah, okay,
Even if they submitted it within 30 days
okay,
of the expiration, the state gives them.
okay, cool, thank you.
Okay. Want to entertain a motion?
I move we approve the renewal of the marijuana business license for Mesa Berry Ventures LLC, conditional upon receiving the renewal license from the state of Colorado, and authorize the town clerk treasurer to send approval to the state.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Betsy Harrison and a second by trustee Grant McWhirter to approve the renewal of the marijuana business license for Mesa Verde Ventures LLC, conditional upon receiving the renewal license from the state of Colorado, and authorize the town clerk treasurer to send approval to the state. Donna, would you please call the roll?
Yes, trustee Betsy Harrison,
Aye.
trustee Grant McWhirter,
Aye.
trustee Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Denise Bryan.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Moving right along to number 3 is the Resolution 10, Series 2021, support of the Mancos Days. Heather?
Yes, the board asked me at the last meeting to put this on this agenda. And I think we talked about proclamation versus a resolution. We always have done resolutions, so I could do a resolution form. Just asking you guys to approve a resolution supporting the disposition.
This will be the 62nd annual
Yes.
Mancos Days. Any discussion?
So again, this is put on by a different committee than the town,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And these are a committee, private citizens, like who puts this together?
Yeah, it's a committee.
They're
It's a
Isn't it a
It's a
nonprofit?
nonprofit.
They're officially a nonprofit. The town carried this event for a while, and then we turned it over to a nonprofit, and now they do everything. The only thing that we do is cover it under our insurance, and the reason for that is the Mancos Colorado Days Association, nonprofit group, way back when, I don't remember the date, I apologize, but it's a while ago, donated the community center to the town of Mancos with 2 conditions. One, that it always be used as a community center. If we do not use it as a community center, we must establish a different community center. And 2, the town of Mancos always cover the insurance for Mancos Days.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we cover the insurance for Mancos Days. We close the streets for the parade. When I say they took it over, Terry still does, and the marshal's office, they still do a lot of work during Mancos Days and to prep for Mancos Days, but we do not run the event anymore. The Mancos Colorado Days Association does.
Okay.
The association was started back in 1961, and they lost a lot of members, and they came to the town and asked the town to take it over. And the town did take it over, and they had it, 6 or 7 years? And then this committee reorganized and came back, and we supported them for like 5 years, gave them the money to do it, and then they've now standing on their own. But they have given back the last 5 years that they've had it, 3 or 4 years, $5,000 back to the communities, to other nonprofits in the community, from money that they have raised, the baseball tournaments and other things that they've done. So, any other questions or discussion? I would entertain a motion.
I move we approve Resolution 10, Series 2021, a resolution supporting the 62nd Annual Mancos Colorado Days and encouraging the citizens of Mancos to participate.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion by trustee Cindy Simpson and a second by trustee Betsy Harrison to approve Resolution 10, Series 2021, a resolution supporting the 62nd Annual Mancos Colorado Days and encouraging the citizens of Mancos to participate. Donna, would you call the vote, please?
Yes, trustee Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Denise Bryan.
Aye.
Trustee Betsy Harrison.
Aye.
Trustee Porter.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. This year's theme is Power of Rock and Roll, Live Hard. So we all need to dress rock and roll on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and support them. Okay, moving right along is Resolution 11, Series 2021, the fee in lieu of dedicated land.
So according to our land use code, each year, this is supposed to be reviewed by the planning commission and make a recommendation to the board. So the planning commission at the last meeting reviewed this, talked about current values, current land values, and unimproved land values. And they recommended anywhere between 20 and 25,000 be the new cash in lieu or fee in lieu amount. This is for people doing subdivisions in town, developers doing subdivisions in town are required to donate a portion of that subdivision, 10% of that subdivision, to be set aside for some type of public use, park or trail. They have the option to request, and the board will approve or disapprove, that they pay a fee, a cash fee, in lieu of donating land. So for example, that's how we got the Northside Park. Creekside subdivision, as part of that original subdivision agreement back in 2005 or 7, whenever that was approved, the board and the developer agreed that this amount of land and these sections of land in that subdivision are going to be set aside for public use. Or in there's one section of it where it's just a super small strip of land, and the town, it was not even with a utility easement, and the town said, we don't want to take care of that. We can't make a park out of it. We can't do anything with it. So he donated cash instead. So that's what this is for. Subdivisions and subdividers can either set aside land for public use, or if the board approves, they can pay cash in lieu of setting aside public land. Generally, this is taken on a case-by-case basis, and again, it comes to me first, then it goes to the planning commission with my recommendation. They review and discuss, they make their recommendation, then it comes to you for final decision. And that's what this is for, final decision. Planning commission recommended anywhere from 20 to 25. Resolution states 25,000. If you want it to be a different amount, you can include that in your motion, and I will amend the resolution for the next signature. Currently, it's set at 15,000.
And you do have in here that you are recommending that it's the fee in lieu of land because we don't really need any more parks at this point. Is that right?
Correct. There is only one location in town where I personally, and again, just a recommendation, and the planning commission may totally disagree with me, and you guys may disagree with all of us. But there's only one location in town, if and when it's developed, that I would say, yes, we actually want 10% of that because it's large enough to justify an actual park at this location. There are a couple of places in town where if they are developed or subdivided, I would say we want that because we can do a trail along the river. So it's really on a case-by-case basis, but there's only a few places in town as our boundary is set now that are large enough to subdivide where 10% of it would be worth setting aside for a park. Because that's a consideration that we need to, if it's small acreage, like the Grand Avenue subdivision, for example, you all approved and the planning commission recommended a fee in lieu because that location, 10% of that was not large enough to do anything with, so they paid the fee in lieu instead. So,
Is it the town's discretion?
yes.
Okay.
The developer can request, but it's you have the final approval, and that goes in the development agreements that go with those subdivision plats. That's where that's ultimately decided, executed, and recorded.
Any other questions? Nothing?
Well, I think this is a little bit off, but would we be, with our water situation, be granting someone a development of subdivision of some kind? Is that even, would we grant some sort of, somebody to develop a subdivision when, more water taps would be involved?
We already have Creekside that has 2 more sections to go, and we have the one down, the Nolan subdivision is already subdivided. It has not been developed yet, so.
But we've already said they can have water taps?
Yeah, that all happens when they get planted. As does this.
Okay, I would entertain the motion.
I move we approve Resolution 11, Series 2021, a resolution setting the per acre fee in lieu of dedicated land.
I'll second.
Can I ask you to
Do we need to put the
Do I need to put the
amount?
fee amount?
in there, please?
Okay. Setting the per acre fee in lieu of $25,000 per acre of dedicated land.
I'll
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by trustee Brent McWhirter and a second by trustee Cindy Simpson to approve Resolution 11, Series 2021, a resolution setting the per acre fee in lieu of dedicated land at $25,000 per acre. Okay, any further questions or discussion? Donna, would you call the vote, please?
Yes. Trustee Brent McWhirter.
Aye.
Trustee Cindy Simpson.
Aye.
Trustee Betsy Harrison.
Aye.
Trustee Janice Bryant.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Moving right along then is the communication training follow-up discussion.
Yes, so this was, we talked about it at the retreat. Staff did some research on some options, and the board asked us to go to staff and see if anybody had any specific preferences. I did have several responses that said we're fine with either one of these. And then I had a suggestion for the communication skills in the workplace, the second option on your sheet, can be taken via Zoom over 2 half-days instead of having 1 full day in-person training. So, it's now coming back to you for final, what would the board, what's your final decision on communication training? And then once you guys decide that stuff, we'll have to reach out as far as scheduling things. And if we, regardless of whether we do 2 half-days via Zoom or in person or whatever, I will be closing town hall because if we're going to attend this, I will ask that the board, the planning commission, retreat board attend. It will be mandatory for all staff. So.
Janice, what do you think?
I read something and I'm crazy right now, I can't find it. There was one on the finding balance and there was the other one on listening. Is that still in here?
That should be the last 2 pages of your packet.
Yeah, well, so, there it is. Yeah, finding balance is what I got, okay. I don't know, I just thought that one would be good to try, just because I think listening and then you can go into the other one sounded better for me.
And we can do both of these over, once a month or once every 2 weeks. We can do both of them if you want, that's an option.
I think that I like the idea of doing the one about communication because that's something that we've always been talking about as a board too, of communicating with each other and communicating with the community. So I think that that's a good one to start with for this.
The finding balance.
No, the communication skills.
Cindy?
The descriptions of both sound pretty close to me, but I would kind of lean toward the finding balance because our staff and us sometimes have very aggressive people talking with us. And it's really good to know how to handle that in a very professional and diplomatic way. So I would I think both, either one would be perfectly fine, but I would kind of lean toward the finding balance.
I don't know. I think they're both good, and then I'm kind of tempted to go with, we sent it back to staff to see what they wanted, and we did have a recommendation on the communication. So I'm truly kind of ambivalent. The bigger thing I have a feeling about is, if we're going to do this thing, I'd like to get us all together. I just don't think that happens very often, and I think it would be a really good thing for all of us. So that's where I stand.
Do we have enough in training to do both?
Yes. And I can do one month, and then a month later, I can do another one to give us time to absorb and utilize the first one. Or even 2 months later, I can do the second one. Anything that works. And I can start with finding balance and go to communication skills in the workplace, or I can start with communication skills in the workplace might be a better option for staff, and then finding balance at second, but either way, I will, like I said, I can't make it mandatory for the board, the planning commission, or the tree board. I can just ask, but it will be mandatory for all the staff to attend one, both, whatever trainings we set up. So we would do it sometime during the week if possible, and then we would just post town hall that day for training. And we
Well, if it's mandatory for staff, do you have a preference?
I personally would prefer both. I would like to start with communication skills in the workplace. We have a lot of new department heads. When I say new, I mean in the last 2 years, myself included. We also have quite a few new staff members and some of them are coming from outside of government, municipal government. So I think it would be helpful for the staff in the short term to have the communication skills in the workplace. And then I really like the finding balance, because Cindy is correct. I think COVID has changed the way that people communicate and approach problems. And I don't necessarily think it's for the better. People are tense and unhappy, and it would be very, very helpful for you all, because I know you're hit on the street all the time, but also again, staff, we are seeing in the last year and a half, year or so actually, we're definitely seeing an increase in unhappy, angry people. And so I think it would be helpful for all of us to learn how to de-escalate and diffuse.
Well, us on the street too, when we get, I know Brent's been.
No idea what you're talking about.
And it's hard when you're at your place of business and you get accosted,
No idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Never happens.
So, but, and it would be nice to be able to, okay, I know how to do this, I don't have to initial response with my, get out of my face, I can maybe say something nicer and talk somebody down and.
Yeah, I know somebody went to your office, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
It was hot.
Yeah, hot, and just come barging in, and if I got, like granted, you got customers in your office, and they just come, it's hard not to react immediately and just say, get out of my office, but.
Just hide in the walk-in.
You have to, hide in the walk-in. I don't have a walk-in. I have a booth, but if somebody's in the booth, they can't go in the booth. So, it's hard, and it would be nice to be able to know how to de-escalate that and de-escalate myself, number one, so that I don't add to their anger or make it even worse.
Well, I know that we've all of you all are professionals, the planning commission, we've all had professional careers for many, many years. But I just don't think you can take this training enough. And I know since I started here in 2008, And we've taken one communication, basically as a public speaking class with
Yeah.
boards and staff since 2008.
Wow.
So
Let's get this going.
Yeah, I think do
I just
both.
think it's,
I like the idea of-
never trained too much on communication.
I like the idea of doing both.
Yeah.
Would somebody make a motion so that they don't have a way to go?
I move, well, do you need a motion or do you just want feedback?
We're spending money. Yes, we need a motion.
Oh, okay, because there's not a recommendation for it, so,
Sorry.
that's okay. So I move that we approve, the town administrator to organize both of the communication trainings, and if possible, with the communication skills in the workplace first, as it seems to be a little more general communication, and then followed by the communicating assertively, finding balance, because it's a little bit more specific.
And just FYI, sorry, we will reach out to employers council, and I will ask them to send someone down here, and I will ask them for probably 2-month lead time, so those that work have the opportunity to adjust their schedules, to be able to attend. The planning commission and board and tree board members that do have outside jobs that you can adjust your schedules into. So we'll try to plan this for September.
Do we need to put the amount in there? Okay. Need a second?
A second.
Okay. I have a motion by trustee Cindy Simpson and a second by trustee Betsy Harrison to approve the town administrator to plan 2 workshops, one on communication skills in the workplace and the second one on communicating assertively, finding balance as soon as possible for the staff, the board, TNC, and tree board. Donna, would you call the vote?
Yes, trustee Cindy Simpson,
Aye.
trustee Burt McWhirter,
Aye.
trustee Denise Bryan,
Aye.
trustee Betsy Harrison.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. So moving right along to item number M is items for the July 28th, 2021 agenda. First, we have our workshop at 6 o'clock, which we're going to discuss water rates discussion. Next, we will have a public hearing for 479 Bower Avenue, a special use permit for the Nest Preschool, and the second quarter work plan and 2021 financials. And we will move the swearing in of the new deputy Aaron Walker down to there. Does anybody have,
Appointing Patty Hartman to the tree board.
and, or the appointing of Patty Harpin to the tree board. Does anybody else have anything else? I would like you to look into that child abuse.
I was just
We're
gonna
all
say
gonna say
that.
that, I think so.
Maybe not on the next agenda, but definitely on an agenda. And reach out to them like tomorrow and let them know that we're interested and that we do want to hear more from them. I do know last year, but the year before, when I was at the Colorado State Fair, there was a child abuse big trailer there, and also sexual exploitation and where they sex trafficking, and we spent over 2 hours in that trailer gathering information. My son and my daughter-in-law and I. It was amazing, and learned so much. And it's here in our little town. It's scary. It is scary. So I think if we could find out more from them and learn any tricks that we can learn and help some child in any way, shape, or form, I think it would be to our benefit. So I don't know if we'll have enough time next time or not, but I would like to see that on an agenda. But reach out to them and let them know that we did hear what they had to say.
And I have a tag on to that, and that is we are in line to have a conversation with the school board,
Yes.
theoretically.
Yes, and I did speak with her about this. I wasn't sure if she was coming tonight. She presented to the school board as well, because I recommended that she reach out to the school board as well. And she has gone to them and actually done a presentation to their board.
She's already done it.
Yes.
Is there any way we could do it before we meet with the school board?
Yes, I will ask her. I will ask her about that.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything for any trustees?
Do we know how long the training is that they were talking about?
I do not.
Like 2 hours, 45 minutes?
I do not, so I'll reach out to her and see, get a better idea of what they're looking at, handouts. I think it was more along the lines of a 20-minute or a half an hour, and she had some one-page handouts.
Okay.
So, what I might do is ask her if she can do it at a workshop, or I'm not sure, our workshops are getting a little booked out, but, otherwise.
Even on the agenda, I think it would be good, because I think the public,
Yeah.
let the public know that we're having it, and I mean,
Let the
if it's a
public
presentation and the public shows up for it, the more that learn this, the better off we are, and I think if the town sponsors it, not sponsors it, but we're offering it through them, I think that just puts a feather in our hat too.
I'll find out, I'll see what they offer.
Plus, let's do it before any other board does it.
Yeah.
So put that feather in our
First,
cap,
right,
too.
yeah.
Come on.
Way.
Let's be honest here, let's do that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm sure the marshal's office is aware of this, I wish
Yes.
Justin was here. So, and I know they've already taken this type of training. I would imagine that they tailor it, it's gonna be very different for the marshal's office than it is for.
Well, it's probably
Yeah.
tailored to you and me, so we can
Mhm.
recognize and do it, and I think that would be good. And, you know, if we could do it on our next agenda, even if it's just a 20 or 30-minute presentation, I think it would be good.
I'll find out.
Yeah.
And if it's longer than that, I will try to find a light agenda. I'll still do it during the board meeting, but I'll try to do it when I can have a light, but not when I have a
Yeah.
public hearing or it's scheduled. I'll try to do it and keep the agenda.
Right?
We also have the interim executive session for personnel.
Oh, that's right.
Town administrator interim evaluation. And then, Donna, did you have anything?
I just have a liquor license renewal for Chihuahuas.
Here.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, then the next on the agenda is adjournment. A motion?
So moved.
Okay, so moved, meeting adjourned.